Bonjour, mesdames, messieurs. C'est avec un grand plaisir que j'assiste à cette conférence-là et j'aimerais bien remercier les organisateurs de cette conférence-là, surtout Jean-François Rattel. Voilà, je m'appelle Asset et je représente le gouvernement de la République tchétchène d'Ichkéry. Before I start, I would like to thank the organizers of this conference, especially Jean-François Rattel. It's a great pleasure for me to be here. I will share a small moment from my childhood. I remember the moment when I was a kid, when I was 6 years old. My father came home and with a shining smile said, "Finally, Kuzio, we won the war." I could not understand what he really meant because I was a child. But it was exactly on 12 May 1997 when the Russian President Yeltsin and the President of Chechen Republic of Ichkeria, Aslan Maskhadov, signed a peace treaty, and both sides, Russia and Chechnya, concluded that further on the relations between Russia and Chechnya should be built in accordance with the norms and principles of the international law. When Chechnya and Russia signed this agreement, this was a huge day. This was a huge event in Chechnya because our people and my father were very happy because my people believed that finally the conflict, the centuries-old conflict between Russia and Chechnya came to an end. However, the joy of my father and the joy of the Chechen people did not last for a long time because Russia came back in 1999. So today I'm going to talk about the legitimate basis of the Chechen Republic of Ichkeria. I will dissolve the Russian myth about a rebel state and present the policy of the Chechen government in exile. Since the start of Russian imperial expansion in North Caucasus, the Russian narrative constantly relegates Chechens to the roles of rebels and Islamists fighting for Islam and for Muslim world against Russia. Yet history shows us that Chechens have been resisting Russian colonialism because of their desire to restore its own forms of national state and to emerge from subjection to the neo-colonial oppression of totalitarian Putin's regime. Unfortunately, the imperialist narrative towards Chechnya has not changed. Russian propaganda, including Russian liberals, claim that the Chechen state was created as a result from an armed rebellion. The epithets unrecognized and rebel are constantly applied to the Chechen Republic. However, historic facts demonstrate that the Chechen people and their lawfully elected leaders restored the Chechen state in full accordance with the international law and the laws of USSR and RSFSR in force at that time. Here are the facts. In April 1990, USSR passed two important laws. The first one being on the basis of economic relations of the USSR, Union and autonomous republics that was passed on April 10, 1990. And the second law that was being on the delimitation of powers between the USSR and constituent members of the Federation that was passed in April on 26 April 1990. These laws altered the status of autonomous republics and recognized the right of free self-determination of peoples. The Declaration of State Sovereignty adopted by the Supreme Soviet of the Checheno-Ingush Republic on 27 November 1990 was in full conformity with the USSR legislation. Also, the matter of fact is that Chechnya was the first republic in post-Soviet territories to sign an agreement with the leadership of the Russian government on the apportioning of weapons and military property. The agreement was concluded between the government of Johar Dudayev, the first president of the Chechen Republic of Ichkeria, and the Minister of Defense of Russian Federation, Pavel Grachov. If Johar Dudayev had really come to power in 1991 after an armed rebellion as claimed by Russian propaganda, there would have been absolutely no question of transferring weapons and military equipment to the government he headed. Therefore, from a legal perspective, the independent Chechen Republic of Ichkeria is a state legitimate, as was the USSR and is today's Russia. That is why we consider the continued presence of Russian troops on the Chechen soil a military occupation. The war in Ukraine unveiled to the world the true essence of the Russian Federation. Chechens have been aware of Russia's war techniques for a long time. During Russia's illegal aggression against Chechnya in 1999, 300 Chechen civilians, including 42,000 children, were killed. 5 legitimate Chechen presidents were murdered. The entire villages were ruined, infrastructure and the economy destroyed, and my father was abducted by the Russian forces. Since the start of the war in Ukraine, the Chechen government in exile has been closely working with Ukrainian authorities. In fact, our government firmly stands with the Ukrainian people. Ukrainian Ministry of Defense and Chechen authorities signed a military cooperation agreement which helped the Chechens to revive their national army. And today, 5 Chechen battalions are fighting against Russian occupants in Ukraine. The Verkhovna Rada's official recognition of the occupation of the Chechen territory by Russian Federation in October 2022, yes, marked a new chapter of cooperation between Chechnya and Ukraine. The friendly relations between Chechnya and Ukraine are strengthened by the opening of the General Representation of the Chechen Republic of Ichkeria in Kiev. And this is our main diplomatic office where the Prime Minister of the Chechen Republic of Ichkeria, Ahmed Zakayev, the Defense Minister of Chechen Republic of Ichkeria, and other representatives of the state work on a permanent basis. Also, Ukraine recognized the passports of Chechen Republic of Ichkeria, and now our citizens can move freely on the soil of Ukraine. The Chechen government in exile is looking forward into consolidating the peoples of the North Caucasus. It initiated a new plan to restore the union of peoples of the North Caucasus with the intention to help these peoples to obtain a recognition of the right to self-determination. In November 2023, the 3rd Congress of Peoples of North Caucasus will be held in European Parliament. Delegates from Chechen, Ingush, Dagestan, and other Caucasian peoples will be present at this Congress. This event will start the process of restoring the union of peoples of the North Caucasus. In the current context, the independent and unified North Caucasus and Russia's loss of the Black Sea can help the West to reestablish security in Eastern Europe. The Union of Peoples of Caucasus will become a valuable ally of the West, with human resources equal to 14.8 million people and with territory equal to 258 square kilometers. So the territory of the Union of Peoples of the North Caucasus will be actually bigger than the territory of today's United Kingdom. The Chechen government in exile is knocking on the doors of the entire international community and is seeking cooperation. We're here and we're open to cooperate in all possible terms. The world should not commit the mistakes of the past. If the international community did not throw the Chechen Republic of Ichkeria in the claws of Putin in 1999, today, Ukraine would be a peaceful country, and many thousands of innocent civilians in Ukraine and in Chechnya would be alive, including my father. The war in Ukraine is the continuation of the aggressive policy implemented by Russia in Chechnya. War criminals who committed atrocities in Chechnya yesterday are now committing them in Ukraine. Russia needs to realize that the conflict between Chechnya and Russia will never be resolved unless Russia assumes the responsibility to adhere to the principles that are clearly stated in the peace treaty, which was signed by Yeltsin and Maskhadov in 1997. The peace treaty concluded in 1997 remains the only document in existence which defines the relationship between Russia and Chechnya. And this document, by the way, is published on the website of United Nations. Over and above that, liberals must stop spreading propaganda and must admit that the Chechen state is a legitimate state created in conformity with the USSR legislation and in accordance with the norms and principles of the international law. Russian liberals must understand that if they truly want to build a democratic state, they must abandon imperialist ambitions and the policy which implies democracy for white Russians and colonialism for non-Russians. As the Prime Minister of Chechen Republic of Ichkeria, Ahmed Zakayev, said, and I'm going to cite him here, the Russian Empire cannot exist in a regime of true democracy, no matter how much Russian liberals contrive in their desire to establish democracy in Russia and at the same time preserve the empire. This is impossible. There's always a need to sacrifice something, either the empire to establish democracy or democracy to preserve the empire. And I think this is very important. And here in the West, we should truly question the intentions of the liberals, of the Russian liberals, who here in the West claim that everything will be okay in Russia the moment Putin is removed from Kremlin, the moment there will be a regime change. The truth is that everything won't be okay unless Russia transforms into a true democracy, into a democratic state, which recognizes the right to self-determination of the peoples of North Caucasus and lets them go, lets them be free. And finally, although that I am very deceived by the delusion of Russian liberals about my state, and although my country is under occupation, I still have a hope, and the light of hope continues to shine. I would like also to thank with all my heart the people of Ukraine and the government of Ukraine for their recognition, support, and cooperation. Ukraine has shown an incredible determination and unbreakable spirit of freedom and dignity. I encourage all our Western friends to follow her example, and I truly hope that our Western friends won't forget that to give up on Ukraine and on Chechnya, it also means to give up on a true spirit of democracy and on our own values. Thank you very much.